Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelly, also known as Roll Roll Kids, and in this episode I thought we could talk about some ideas for using our yarn advents. We all know that buying yarn is an entirely different hobby on its own from knitting and crochet, and with that being the case, sometimes you buy a yarn advent. I know I have. And there's absolutely no plans for it whatsoever. I've done that this year. Last year I did have plans for mine, and I knitted the Polkacats jumper. And those of you who have regularly watched my podcast will know that I didn't have a lot of joy in knitting it. The pattern is a little bit and at times. So because of that, it's not in my list, but it is there as an option for you. So I thought I've got 30 ideas, 15 knitting, 15 crochet. I've also sorted them into 5 shawls, 5 tops, and then 5 other for each thing. So in the description box below, there will be timestamps for you to jump ahead to what you want. So if you're wanting a crochet shawl, just click the timestamp and it will take you to the 5 crochet shawls. That's my idea. Hopefully the plan goes to plan. We will see. All of the patterns today are with finger and weight. If you would like me to do a DK one in a couple of weeks time, I can have a look, but today I am only concentrating on fingering / 4-ply if you're in the UK weight. Okay, so I'm going to crack on because I have to do the school run in a little bit and I haven't got a lot of time, but I have got all my things in front of me on my laptop so that I can see them, and then I'm going to pop pictures up for you guys. So I'm going to start with the knitting. And we're going to start with the 5 shawl ideas that I have in mind. And the first one has been on my list since I seen her designing it. Was it last year? No, 2022. She started designing it in 2022. So this is the Sleigh All Day Advent Wrap by Alison Stuefer. Now, names. There's a lot of complicated names on my screen. If I say anybody's name wrong, I am so sorry. It is purely that I'm not educated enough to say the name correctly. Seriously, I do not mean to offend anybody if I get the name wrong. So Alison Stuefer, I think, is also Lofty Loops yarn. The Sleigh All Day Wrap is a really long wrap that was designed for a 24-day advent. It has lace, it has brioche, it has fluff. It's all done with 20-gram minis. It's finger and weight. Sleigh All Day Wrap also comes as a cowl, which I didn't even realise until I was searching for this. But I just think it's such a pretty wrap. I think it would keep you entertained because there's different things going on in the repeat. So you'll do a bit of brioche, and then you'll do a bit of lace, and then you'll do a bit of something else. It's just I just think that seems really interesting, and it's all done on a bias as well. The wrap is large rectangular wrap worked on a bias. Final measurements are approximately 112 by 13 inches, which is 285 centimetres by 33 centimetres. So that's after blocking, so it's pretty big. It is a paid for pattern, but I just think that's such a pretty, and it's called Sleigh All Day. So I just think it's pretty. So that's my first idea. I've also tried to pick things that are a little bit unusual. Not unusual, people know about them, but ones that aren't really well known. I didn't want to put in Find Your Fate by Andrea Mowry, or all these big, everybody, Stephen West Shawl or something. Everybody knows who they are, and I didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted to go a little bit obscure so you could discover new designers as well. So next up we have Kolorblok by Justina Lokowska, which is letters knits or liters knit, I don't know. But I love this. I think it's so pretty, and I think it would just oh, it just looks so good in an advent. If you had a fade as well, it would just look absolutely stunning. I do think you'd need a contrasting colour just to break up these as they come in. She's got like a lighter colour contrast. But, I mean, you could pick out the lighter colour contrast from your advent and mix them in, or especially if you haven't got a fade and you've just got like, because you do get advents that are just random colours, don't you? So this one is approximately 195 centimetres by 78 inches, no. Oh, hang on, right, okay. 195 centimetres, which is 78 inches wide, and it is 60 centimetres by 24 inches high. So I'm assuming wide is this and high is this. I'm not 100% there. I haven't knitted any of these things that I'm about to tell you, so yeah, and it is a paid for pattern. Again, finger and weight, like I've said at the beginning, it's finger and weight. So yeah, that's a beautiful one. Next up, I'm going to do a shameless plug. I can't say, oh, you should knit these patterns with your advent and not put in my own advent shawl, sorry. But I think the Bated Breath shawl is a really pretty shawl, and it kind of gets a bit left by the wayside, I think. It's like a lot of people have knitted, don't get me wrong, but not a lot at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So I thought I would pop it in here and let you all have a little scoot at it. It is a Bated Breath shawl in the 4-ply. I do a DK version as well, and this was knitted for Advent. It was the Skein and the Stitch 24-day Advent back in 2022, I believe. Yes, 2022. It is written for a 24-day Advent, so it tells you when to change from day 1 to day 2 to day 3. This is the only one from this selection that I have actually knitted. I did knit that one. Its wingspan, so the long across the top, is 256 centimetres, which is 100.75 inches, and the width, the longest part, is 76 centimetres, which is 30 inches. It's a big one, and it is a paid for pattern. It just gives you that lace and garter and eyelets. It's quite a relaxing knit. It does get a little bit tricky, but it's very, very easy to fudge, I can tell you that. There's fudging in that actual picture. So there we go, that is the Bated Breath shawl by me. And next up we have one a little bit different. So Plan B by Nim Teasdale is a long wrap knitted on the bias again. A parallelogram, as she says, or slanty rectangle, designed for playing with colour and bias. The design can be made as a scarf or widened into a stole. The pattern is worked in stripes, alternating between wide stripes of stockinette stitch and overlaid with garter lines with lifted stitches. Now I do think you would probably need a contrasting colour to go with this, to do those darker lines or whatever colour you chose. But I just think it could look so beautiful in some sort of fade or just randomised colours from your advent. I do think it would be a really, really pretty scarf or wrap to make. Again, it is in 4-ply, finger and weight, and it is a paid for pattern. And our last shawl is the Moorland shawl. So the Moorland shawl, but I just saw it and I was like, oh my god, that would make such a pretty like fade going out. Such a pretty pattern. So it starts as a triangle shawl, but then you adapt and put bits on each end. I'm not entirely sure how it's knitted. This is by Anya B. Lindner, and it is a paid for pattern, but it's a very cheap paid for pattern in all honesty. It says the shawl design is inspired by the gentle landscape of the area around Murnau in Bavaria, with its green hills and quiet lake facing the near mountains of the Alps. It features a rectangular shape. While being seamlessly knitted in one piece, the knitting is entertaining with various colours and stitch patterns involved, but not too complicated. intermediate should be able to read charts to be able to do it, but I just think that's such a pretty shawl, and I've definitely added it to my list to be done at a later date at some point in my life of these never-ending pattern lists. So that's Moorland's shawl. So we'll move on to jumpers now, and I'll give you 5 jumper ideas that you can do, or sweater if you're in the US or anywhere else that says sweater, or pullover or jersey. There's so many names for a jumper. To me, it is a jumper. Okay, so before we go into the jumpers, I have a little bit of a stipulation. So I am very much an advocate for the size inclusivity. So it doesn't matter how lovely they are, I disregard them. And that's what happened here. I did only pick size inclusive jumpers. I seriously struggled in the crochet section, I have to admit. So the next 5 jumpers are all size inclusive. So the first one is Un Chemin vers la Ciel by Melina Hammy, and that means a pathway to heaven, I think it was called, or path to heaven, a pathway to heaven, I think. So this one is just a striped, is it raglan? No, it's a circular yoke. It's all in one piece. So she's put Un chemin vers la ciel, means a path to the sky. But when my Google translated, it says a path to heaven. So sometimes when I look at a rainbow, I think if I were a leprechaun, I would walk on it to my late loved ones, like a coloured path to them. Unfortunately, I cannot do that, so I made my own rainbow. Based on a yoke construction, this sweater is worked in top-down, alternating thin and large stripes. It's calculated according to your upper bust measure to give the perfect fit. The neckline and the sleeves edges are worked with 1 by 1 ribs folded on themselves, while they are simply bound off loosely at the bottom of the body. So it is in fingering weight. And you might need a background colour. Her stripe in between, her thin stripe in between is the same colour every time. Doesn't mean you have to do that though. Yeah, and I just think it's a really simple yoke sweater that would really show off a beautiful advent. It is a paid for pattern, and it's by, I don't think I said it's by Melina Hammy, or did I say? I can't remember. But it is by Melina Hammy. Or Hammy. So yeah, that's my first jumper idea. My next one is a cardigan, and it is the Crosshill Cardigan by Little Theorem, and this was released earlier this year, and it says a beautiful cardigan designed to showcase a gorgeous set of mini skeins or to use up leftover sock yarn in your stash. The lace pattern looks complicated, it's really just a clever combination of easy to work stitches knitted in a luscious merino silk and yak blend. This waterfall cardigan is made to snuggle up in. So it is a waterfall, which means there's no buttons, it just drops down at the front. And it has this lovely starry like lace pattern in between the dark stripes. So you could always get if you get a calendar that has the big skein, then that's your alternate yarn, isn't it? But you could get an alternate yarn, or you could just do your stripes, like just stripe your advent. There are no rules, it's your knitting. You do you. This is a paid for pattern, and again it is in fingering weight, 4 ply. It goes up to a 60-inch chest. So that was that one. My next one is Flight of the Goldfish by Maddie Moore. So this, as an alternative of not doing an entire striped jumper, it's just the sleeves, and I just thought that was kind of cool, especially if you've used your advent for something else and you've just got a bit left over, or you just don't want to use it all on one thing. So you can just stripe those sleeves, and I just think it's a really pretty way of doing it. It says calling all collectors of mini skein sets, advents and partials. This stash busting pattern is made for you. This sweater is nearly Sleeve Island proof, giving a colourful spin to a classic raglan fit. You can incorporate as many or as few colours as you'd like in thick or thin stripes for the sleeves. So it incorporates intarsia work in the yoke, working flat until you're ready to separate the sleeves. The edges at the back of the yoke are later seamed using a mattress stitch, giving a near invisible seam, shown best in the purple and blue sample, which I'll pop a picture up because you can see that there. And then as written, the body is slightly cropped and includes shaping around the waist to taper the hem inward. So yeah, this goes up to a 62-inch chest, and I just think it's really pretty. I really love the cream version, the main one, with the stripy sleeves. I think it's so good. So yeah, you do have to knit it flat across the yoke so you can get those stripes in, but then you're away. And I bet it does stop Sleeve Island, because you'd be like, there's that thing, isn't there? Just get to the next stripe. I'll just finish this stripe. I'll just put one more stripe in and then I'll go to bed. It's got that. So yeah, that's always a good thing. My fourth idea is the Beak Street Tee. So I know this is a little bit different, but why, you know, it doesn't have to be striped all over. And I just thought that was really cool. It's kind of like you've been chopped in half and you've got another top. No, but this is this is Beak Street Tee by Bridget Pupillo. It is a paid for pattern, but it's from the Knit Picks website, but you can get it through Ravelry. Like, you go to the Ravelry page and you can click through to the Knit Picks website. And it comes in up to a 63.25 finished chest circumference, which also the finished chest circumference meant to be worn with 1 inch negative ease up to 4 inch positive ease. So there's a lot of scope for fit. Yeah, I think it's really, really pretty. And I think if you did like a solid colour across the bottom, especially if you had like the solid skein or a big skein with your advent, and then you did all the stripes, that would look so good. So good. I love that. And then finally, if you're feeling a little bit adventurous, we've got the Serigraphy Sweater, I hope that's right, by Meju Callio. Again, I hope that's right. This is hard. This is a paid for pattern and it is full colour work. It goes up to 5XL, which I did look and to make sure, and that's a 64-inch bust from a 30-inch bust. It's just so pretty, and although she's like used the same colours over and over in hers, like the mustard is repeated and the teal is repeated, like you don't have to. And I think that would look beautiful as a faded advent, or even just a random colour advent. I just think it's so pretty. It is paid for, if I didn't say that already, and yeah, I just think it's such a pretty, kind of almost reminds me of a Christmas jumper, but it's like a Christmas jumper you could wear all year round, if that makes sense. I just think it's such a pretty item. So that is my sweaters, my jumpers in my country. So we'll now go on to the other things you can make. And first up is the Bits and Bobs Socks by Morgan Panish. Knitting Nelly, that's a little bit easier. So these are done in light fingering, but fingering would do the same job. And they come in 5 different sizes. And I just think, like, I've seen socks with that scalloped pattern before, but the little dots above of the previous colour or the colour that you're about to start. I really like that. I just think that just sets them off, and I'm definitely adding these to my list. Great for just leftover of Advent, leftover Advent, because we're here about Advent. It says, these socks are meant to evoke the sweet and simple pleasures of childhood, rolling down a grassy hill, holding hands and singing in a circle, learning to sew, playing tea party with friends and stuffed animals. The bits and bob socks are easy to memorise and have the perfect amount of colour work for a beginner, but are still interesting enough for more advanced knitters. Knit them up with minis, 2 colours or leftovers you've been collecting in your stash. Add a stripe or 2 a day and you'll have a pair of socks in no time. And I just think they are just so cute and lovely, and I really want a pair. They are a paid for pattern, and I think I already said they come in 5 sizes, from child to large adult, basically. Child, adult, small, medium, large and extra large. So yeah, I just love them, and I'm currently adding them to my queue. Next is another colourwork dream, which is Astrum by Deborah Gerhard. This is a colourwork cowl where you would again need an alternate main colour and use your Advent around it. It says Astrum is a Fair Isle cowl. Can't talk anymore. Astrum is a Fair Isle cowl knitted in the round and subsequently joined together. The cowl begins with a provisional cast on and the ends of the tube are joined using Kitchener stitch. Videos for the provisional cast on could work in blah 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 blah. And the Fair Isle pattern is charted. It's the same Fair Isle pattern throughout. It's the snowflake, which I think is lovely. In the main picture, which is obviously up on the screen right now, her main colour alternates, so she doesn't just have it cream. Later on she's got a dark snowflake there and a red snowflake, so there's no saying that you couldn't get your Advents and work them together and see what 2 colours go together and work it that way. It is paid for, and it is approximately 8 inches tall by 54 inches circumference, which, let me quickly work out the centimetres of that. So 8 inches is almost 20.5 centimetres, and 54 inches tall is 137 centimetres. So it's a pretty long one. You could obviously wear it double. You could knit it as long as you wanted and just had a single one if you wanted. So it's obviously double-sided as well if you're knitting it in the round and then joining it up. So you must knit a long tube and then just sew the ends together, which would make such a cosy cowl. So that is the Astrum. We then have the cutest little socks, which is the Merry Christmouse by Sandrine Voss. Oh my god, look at them. Oh, look at them. They're so cute. You could use any of your minis for those toes and cuffs and heels, and you could also stripe any colours you want, and you would just need the little grey for the cutie little mice, and you might have a grey in your Advent, so job's a good one. I think they're so cute. They come in small, medium and large, which I'm assuming is, yes, a 56 stitch, a 64 stitch and a 72 stitch cast on. If they have 56, 64, 72, it would not be too difficult to adapt to an 80 stitch or to a 48 stitch. So you would be able to take out a pattern repeat or add a pattern repeat and do it that way, using like a different sock pattern to follow if you needed to. So yeah, I think it's got a lot of scope and it's just so cute, and they're called Merry Christmouse. Next up, we're going to a lovely little garland, maybe. You could make a garland with them. It's the Mini Sock Adventure by Amanda Shoesger, I think. I'm sorry. So it says they're a hanging ornament, but you could make an I-cord and hang them and have them as bunting. You could hang them off your tree. You could use them as little stocking fillers. You could use them as little tags for like everybody's present. Like there's so much scope in these. They're so, so cute. And yeah, I mean, obviously if you're using them for tags or presents, remember that that's you giving your Advent away. That's not happening in my house. It is all for me. But they are super, super cute. It is a paid for pattern. Embark on a mini sock adventure, a whimsical journey for your knitting that transports you to a world of charm, texture and creativity. These little wonders celebrate the art of knitting and the joy of exploration, weaving tales of adventure and individuality with each stitch. Whether you've cozied up by the fireplace or perched on a sun-drenched terrace, I wish. Mini socks embrace the spirit of quick and easy knitting for any season. Let the adventure begin. They're just so cute. Look at them. You could do all sorts with them. And finally, for those of you who want something ginormous to wrap around yourself or throw onto your bed or sofa, it's the Anthology Throw by Helen Stewart. I did have a different thing here, and then when I was talking about it, I realised it was DK, and I'm trying to keep this as fingering. So unfortunately, I've just had to go with something that I knew, and I mean the Anthology Throw, it's absolutely stunning. I don't think I'd have the staying power. I don't think I'd have the staying power to do those final few rounds, but it is absolutely beautiful. And yeah, it just looks so good, like just in an Advent, just so, so good. That beautiful circular coming out, it would be amazing. It is a paid for pattern and it only comes in the one size. I don't know if, it just says one size. I don't think there's any measurements. No. It says anthology is a weighty, bookish word full of literary gravitas. It comes from two Greek words, anthos, which means flower, and logia, which means collection or gathering. So therefore, anthology is a gathering of flowers. It's a beautiful way to think of how we collect stories, poems and songs and anything else important to us. It's a beautiful name for this exuberant throw with its garden full of colours and textures, designed to use a set of 24 fingering minis or scraps. The Anthology Throw would look incredible in a gradient set. So there you go, that is my knitting ideas for your Advent. I hope you have found something you'd like to knit, or just a new designer, or I don't know. I just hope it's helped. So now we'll move on to the crochet and the ideas that I have for that one. Just let me cut it. So we'll start with the crochet shawls, and oh, there's some pretty crochet shawls, there is. So my first one is the Fairy Lights Advent Shawl by Lisa Browell, and oh, look at it, it's just so beautiful. I was just going to say that it reminds me of the Cuddlebums yarns, and then I've scrolled down and it is actually knitted in Cuddlebums. It is such a pretty shawl. It is a paid for pattern, and it says the pattern has been designed using 24 5-gram mini skeins plus 100 gram of yarn in a contrasting colour, making it perfect use for a yarn advent calendar or just to use up scraps. I've named this pattern Fairy Lights Advent Shawl as the white contrast yarn looks like a little string of fairy lights against the rainbow of colours. It is such a pretty shawl, and it's definitely going in my list for when I'm a bit better at crocheting. Yes. So that is the Fairy Light Shawl. I do have to say up front that I am not a crocheter. I can crochet, but I'm not great. I have only learned like 6 months ago. I don't know if any of these patterns are hugely popular or not, because I'm not up in that world. I don't know. So just a disclaimer, because I've said at the beginning that these are all going to be like I've found unusual ones. I might not have with crochet, I don't know. But that is the Fairy Light Shawl. Next is Mitred Minis by Dora Does. I just thought this was really cool because you see a lot of knitted metre squares. But that's my cat. You see a lot of knitted, metered, mitered squares, whichever way you want to pronounce it. and I haven't seen crocheted ones before, and I just thought it was really cool. What I did like about it is you knit the squares and you could knit, no you don't, you crochet them. You crochet the squares and you can make as many as you want and make a big wrap, or you can make a cowl, or you can, whatever you want. It's totally up to you, and I thought that was great. It does say finished measurements for a cowl, a scarf, a wrap and a lap blanket. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Again, it is a paid for pattern and it's in fingering weight yarn. We then have Mrs. Fezziwig, a crochet advent wrap. Excuse my cats, they've just come in and they've started having a fight. So Mrs. Fezziwig, a crochet advent wrap by Dawn Barker, and this is another paid for pattern. It is a straight up like scarf type, and it's in what's called the spiked granny chevron. I just thought that was such an unusual looking pattern and really pretty, and I think a fade or a random coloured advent would just look beautiful. It says, worthy of its joyful and generous namesake, Mrs. Fezziwig is a beautiful rectangular crocheted wrap featuring a spiked granny chevron. Mrs. Fezziwig, is that someone from The Wind in the Willows? That's what I'm thinking. Or Beatrix Potter, one of them, isn't it? Maybe. I might be making that up. The Riptide Wrap Advent Edition by Mariana Muller. Oh, I really like this. I just find this so pretty. So this is a paid for pattern. It is in fingering weight, and she also offers a pay what you can option. So you can get, she's wrote it in dollars, so it's $7 for the pattern, or you can pay $6 or $5, and I just think that's a good thing to do. She doesn't, she said, based on my popular Riptide Wrap pattern, this Advent Edition pattern is written to utilise an Advent or mini yarn set. So the Riptide Wrap was originally in this blue colour. It's very pretty. The Advent version is just stunning. So there you go. So there's a Riptide Wrap, and then I don't know what the difference between the Riptide Wrap and the Riptide Advent Wrap is, other than different colours. So maybe she's just telling you where to put the colours. But I assume they are the same price. No, the Riptide Advent Edition is more expensive. So if you're that way inclined, I'm saying nothing. Anyway, my next one is Intermission by Deanne Ramsey. So this is also a paid for pattern. I think they're all paid for, unfortunately. I didn't find any snazzy free ones, but it says, are you looking for a project that keeps your hands busy but allows your mind to unwind? The kind that is challenging enough to keep you interested but allows you to relax and enjoy the simple rhythm of stitches. Then take a break with Intermission. Created specifically for mini skeins, Intermission pairs stripes with basic lace to create the shawl of your lazy weekend dreams. Take a moment, relax and enjoy the colour play. It's so beautiful, and it is 100% going on my list. I really like it. And it looks like such a nice big size wrap as well to like wrap around a couple of times. So yeah, Intermission, Deanne Ramsey. We are going to the sweaters slash jumpers slash pullovers slash jerseys. And my first one is the Ribbons sweater by Marissa Kessler. So this is, now, her original photo, the first photo, it just shows like these stripes, but then when you move further down, she's got like staggered stripes, and also I think there's a lot of scope in what you could do with this, with it being crochet, and you're not messing about with intarsia and knitting. I did make sure that this was size inclusive, and it goes up to a 64-inch bust. It says this isn't any sweater, it is the sweater, the sweater. The prototypical wear with anything, wear it until it falls apart classic sweater. As such, this pattern comes with 2 different necklines, length that is customised to your body, and 2 different sleeve lengths. It also has 3 yarns listed in the materials section, so you have a choice of different yarns at different price points, all that have the same gauge. I made this sweater in 3 quite different style yarns to help you envision what this will look like if you made with that yarn. If made with yarn that has short, irregular, short, regular and long colour changes. But if you're just slotting them in when you want to. So there we go. That is another paid for pattern. It is size inclusive. I just think that could be really stunning. Next we have Shelley Sweater by Pepper Goose or Susanna Kate. So this is a little bit different, and I just thought it could make your, I don't know, it could make your advent kind of pop a bit if you added a different colour in there as well. Again, this is in 4-ply, and it is size inclusive. It goes up to a 62-inch chest. I really did struggle for size inclusive jumpers in the crochet section. I really struggled, and that makes me feel so bad. But this one is size inclusive. I did make sure they all were. So this is a paid for pattern, and yeah, I mean, there's there's the main one, which has obviously been on the screen. There's another one that she's done it all in black, so you can do what you want with it, basically. It looks like there's a lot of scope, and it looks really, really pretty, and I think it would look stunning in an advent. I love the way that sleeve looks. I think that sleeve would look amazing, and then all of these bits. So the sleeve itself, and then all of the bits. I don't know why I'm pointing, because that'll cut me off. The sleeve, and then compared to the body, I just think it would look great as an advent. It's that simple. Jamaila by, bear with me, Battenberg Designs. Battenberg, I think. So this is a cardigan. It's in the cardigan section, but it's also in the sweater section, and it's also in the tee section and the vest section. I think you can basically do what you want. I saw it in all the colours, and I was just like, oh, it just looks so good. It is a paid for pattern, and it goes up to 5XL, which is a 64-inch chest. Yeah, you can see her with I'm going to pop the pictures up so you can see the designer. I think that's the designer, with it as a cardigan that's buttoned like a waterfall cardigan. A lot of it is her back, so it's a bit difficult, but you can see somebody else there with like a top, and then the main pattern picture is like a long sleeve top. So you must just be able to add and take away bits and bobs that you want and do whatever you want. I mean, it's crochet. I think there's a bit more scope for stopping and starting and doing what you want, isn't there? I don't know, because I haven't made a crochet garment, just from what I envision it to be like. But it says Jamaila is one of those versatile airy garments that you can't help loving. In fact, with its loose, comfortable fit and lots of positive ease, it might well become your favourite. It is a fast crochet and has no seams. The perfect garment for the summer, or when you need a nice companion on a chilly day. Combined with a blouse or a long sleeve t-shirt, it is also a fashionable companion for the winter, and using the correct colours and yarn, it could be an elegant garment for that special social occasion. You can choose a crochet cardigan, an asymmetric vest or tunic with either short or long sleeves. You may find you like it enough to make all of them. Furthermore, you can adjust Jamaila to other yarn weights easily or crochet it longer or shorter. The pattern contains a workshop on how to achieve this. And it says it's a very detailed pattern with lots of photos, 8 photo tutorials and 22 pages. So it is paid for, and rightly so if that's the amount of work she's put in. I just think that's really pretty. We've then got the Choose Your Adventure Cardi. So if you don't want stripes because you're sick of the sight of stripes, Sass and Stitch Crochet have done a granny square type cardigan, and I just think that would look so good in all your different colours. And you could even, like, if you wanted to, because I'm sure you're putting these together, you could just do all one colour and then fade them as you go up in the squares. You don't have to like have the squares all different colours dotted around. I think there's a lot of scope in that. So this is by Sass and Stitch Crochet, and it is paid for, I think. Oh, I think it's only in her book at the minute. Oh, sorry, that was bad selection for me. Like I say, I really struggled with size inclusivity in the crochet, and I was kind of just, yeah, I was struggling. This goes up to a 62-inch bust. So it is only in a book at the minute, but maybe she'll release it separately. It is beautiful. The last jumper that I have is the Diamonds Not Pearls, and this is by Abby Maid. And it is another paid for pattern, and it's kind of like entrelac. I never know how you say that. Is it entrelac? It says choose your own adventure with this fully customizable wearable. 6 children's sizes and 9 adult sizes are included in this top-down seamless pattern. The pattern includes directions for customizing your wearable, so it can be a tee, a long-sleeved sweater, or a dress. That could look so beautiful. And I just think, yeah, I mean, there's a lady there who has it all in white, so you could literally put your colours wherever you wanted. You could have stripes going up, you could check them like other people have, you could do a fade, which there is a fade further down, so I'll show you that one, and another fade there as well. So there is a lot of scope for this one, and I just think it's really, really pretty. So there we go. So that's my last jumper. So we'll now move on to the other things you can do with your crochet. And first up is the Battenberg Blanket, because it's just beautiful, and if you've got a lot of scraps, why not put them in that? You don't have to get the main colour, you could do whatever you wanted, and this is a free pattern. Good enough to eat, it says. This arrangement of squishy colourful squares alternated with a simple squares in a neutral shade made me think of checkerboard pink and yellow sponge cubes of a Battenberg cake, a UK tea time favourite from my childhood days. If you don't know what a Battenberg looks like, I will pop one up and you can have a look at that. The cake version comes wrapped in a simple marzipan coat with sugar sprinkles, so I made a border of simple stitches to match with a dusting of picots along the edges. There is Battenberg in the pictures, and it's just such a pretty blanket. It's my dream blanket. Swallowing hair. I did try to make it before I knew how to crochet properly. Made a right mess of it. My squares were like this big, this big, this big. They were just stupid. I'm going to pull it all out and try again. I'm actually doing it in DK though, because I have a lot of DK left over. So I'm going to try, but I'm really going to try and make this. It's just so pretty. I then found some socks in crochet, and I know you do have socks in crochet, but I think they can be a little bit odd sometimes. But the Janie Socks by Alison Clark Stitchery and Co. just look so pretty, and I had to add them. They are a paid for pattern. It says the Janie Socks crochet pattern is my go-to design for creating multicolour stripes made by mini skeins, blending the main colour for toes, heels and ribbing. This is such a fun pattern for using mini skeins collected from advent calendars or hand-dyed yarn collection releases. Of course, you could also endlessly adapt and modify this pattern by changing the striped pattern using different colours, adjusting the socks height, etc. That was my alarm for school pickup. And I'm not done yet, but I will be back to finish. But those are just so pretty. I'll show you the close-ups of them as well so you can see the pattern, and I just think they would make such a cozy little pair of socks with your leftover scraps that I had to put them on here. So they are paid for, and they come in 3 sizes, so adult, small, medium and large. My next one is the Crocodile Stitch Cowl, because I just thought this was just so different and cool, and I know I've seen Crocodile Stitch before. It's such a cool stitch though, and I just thought this was so pretty, and in a advent, like layered advent, that would look cool, right? I'd really like that. So this is by Bonita Patterns, and it is paid for. I think you have to get it from the Knit Picks website, but you can go via the Ravelry page. It is an elegant and unique cowl, perfect for fall and winter. Make this fun cowl with gorgeous rainbow yarn for a playful pop of colour, or in a silver toned yarn for sleek standout look. The pattern works up pretty fast, so it's ideal for a quick project for a gift or selling the finished items. She says about silver, but she doesn't show a picture of it in silver, and I'd be interested to see that, but I just think it's such a pretty one. Okay, so next up we've got Magic Monday by Brenda Grobler. And this is one of the first things I found in the crochet. It is a free pattern, and it says everybody needs a bit of magic on a Monday morning to banish the blues. This cowl is an excellent stash buster, and the colourful rows and different stitch patterns for each row will definitely brighten up your day. I just think it's so cute, and I really, really want to make this, especially when it's got different stitch patterns in it. I'm assuming that doing the different stitch patterns would also hone your crocheting skills a little bit better as well, which is something that I need. So it is free, and it is in 4-ply, again, finger and weight. It doesn't have any measurements on the pattern page, but you can see that it's a long cowl, and it will looking at that, I assume it would wrap twice, so it'd be a nice bulky cowl if you wanted it that way, or just long. Oh, there, she's got it on wrap twice anyway, so yes. And then finally, one that I just think is just such an extravagance, but oh, beautiful, is the Christmas Skirt Volume 1 by Famtulaki Ioana. I think that's how we say her name. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, bless me. Again, this is free. This is a free pattern, and I think that picture there just shows it folded in half, because the next picture it shows it as a circular. This wasn't, it's not an intended, I'm gonna sneeze again. Oh, sorry, I keep sneezing. It's not an intended advent pattern per se. I just think if you started, I'm assuming you start in the middle. So if you started in the middle and just gradiated out with your colours, oh, and then every Christmas you get it out and it's just on display around your tree, like looking absolutely beautiful. It says celebrate the magic of Christmas with this festive Christmas tree skirt. This beautiful skirt is the ultimate accessory to create a warm and welcoming atmosphere in your home during the Christmas season. In addition, you can use it as a tablecloth or a frame for your living room. And then there's a video tutorial as well linked on the pattern page, and it is all free. And it's beautiful. Look at it. It's so stunning. So there we go. That is my 30 ideas for Christmas Advent. I'm sure there's some more, and if you have any, please drop them in the comments below and let me know. I will link everything that I've talked about today in the description box. There will also be timestamps so you can jump to the sections that you would like to get to. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like me to do a DK version of this, let me know, and I will get one over the next couple of weeks done, so you've got time for when you start opening your advent if you've got a DK advent. But yeah, thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope this helped, and I hope you found the pattern of your dreams to make your advent with. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button, however way you need to do it. That would be lovely. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Once again, I've said it about 1,000 times. Bye.